Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Yes, you are seeing correctly. You are seeing a dirty bucket. So today's video, I'm going to teach you how to make a dirty bucket. Just kidding, of course. So I have a very, very fun idea that I'm going to try to execute with all of you. And if it works, it's going to be a sensation. So what I have here is a product called Cementol. So it's a rapid setting cement. And basically what I'm going to do is mix some of this up. The directions are on the box. You add so many parts of this to so many parts of water. Mix it up quick. And then what I'm going to be doing is using this to make a geode. Yes, you heard right, a geode. So there's going to be crystals, there's going to be all kinds of fun things. Beautiful, just for you, glitters. And I have a feeling it's going to be spectacular. Now, I tried this already once. And I'm going to try to lift it up and show you the outcome. But I used regular cement and there's a lot of pits in it. So I'm going to try to use this product. So you can see here, I've already did this once, but all of those little pits, now granted I could cover them on the second layer of resin. I just want to try to use this other product, but it's relatively inexpensive. That big box cost me $14. So I want to try it with that brand because I was researching and there were a few things I did wrong on that. I was supposed to put something heavy on top to press it down flat, so on both sides it would look just as you saw. Right now the other side was the side that I sculpted by hand, and it's very bumpy, and I will show you, uneven. So this is the side I sculpted by hand, and the side that I showed you was the side that was flat on the plastic. So you see how much nicer that is. So I'm going to try it with this product, and I'm going to do it the right way this time. I did a lot of research, and this is what needs to be done. So now, as I said, I was researching this stuff, and they said to make it extra strong, you could add some reinforcing fibers. So I looked up what reinforcing fibers are, and basically it's some, they sell fiberglass tape, but it looks like almost like netting that they shred, and supposedly you mix it in with the cement and it really makes it really strong. I'm not going to be doing that. I couldn't find any. I know it's online. I didn't want to wait, but I'm thinking between the cement itself and the resin that this thing is going to be strong enough. So let me get set up. I'm going to fast forward the part of me mixing and all that because I really can't explain to you how much water and how much cement to add because it depends on how much you're using it. It's all different. So if I use 5 cups of cement, then I only use 1 cup of water. If I use 10 parts cement, then 2 cups. So you know what I mean? So you just have to go by the directions on the box. So I'm going to fast forward this part so it's not boring, and then we'll get to the fun stuff. So I forgot to mention, before you start mixing your cement, because this is a rapid set cement, it claims 10 to 15 minutes working time. So before you start mixing the cement, you need to be set up. So you need a flat pouring surface. Then you're going to need some thick type of shiny plastic. I got this HDX brand plastic drop cloth, and I got the 2 MIL. That's a very thick piece of plastic. The lower in number you go, the thinner it gets. So what you want to do is have a piece of this laid down flat. You're going to put your cement on top, and then you need another piece to go over the top and put the weight down onto the cement. So for the weight, I'm going to be using some tiles. You'll see me do that, but have this all set up before you start mixing your cement. Another key note, make sure you're in a ventilated area. I'm in my craft room. I have the windows open. I'm going to put a mask on, and I'm going to stir very slowly and pour very slowly as to not create a lot of dust. Okay, so you can see the consistency I have here, and I was just adding a little bit and adding a little bit of water as I went. So now I have it where it's perfect. I'm able to mold with it. I'm going to move it over here for a second. I'm going to take my 2 pieces of plastic that I have here, just like so. I'm going to plop this right in the center. Okay, and now you need to just get your shape done as quickly as possible. So what I'm going to do is just kind of spread it out. I'm going to make my hole in the center here. Kind of get it to the same thickness all the way around. Kind of get rid of those creases as best as you can. Now I want mine to be a little misshapen. I don't want it perfectly round. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my plastic over the top of it, just like so, and I'm going to get something heavy, which is going to be a tile in this case. I have a 12 by 12 tile. These were 49 cents, by the way, at Home Depot. And I'm going to use it and press down on it to kind of flatten it out. Okay? And I'm just going to keep going around and doing that. And I'm going to leave that plastic on there while it cures. Maybe. Let's see if it's causing wrinkles. I'm sure that it's going to cause some wrinkles here. Hold on a second. And I'm going to be placing like 5 of these on top of this while it's curing, so that I get a nice, probably 1/8 of an inch thick piece of concrete. So just want to lift this plastic. The plastic is what's going to help it be shiny on the surface. So it's almost like kneading with, dough. Just get it where you want it. And then you're going to let it cure. So, yeah, I'm going to leave the plastic on. That's going to help with the shine. And And as you can see, the wrinkles are coming out. So, and this center is going to have a nice, you know, 3D dimension to it. All right, so it says, I'm trying to see where it says how long it takes to dry. I'm not seeing it, so I'll tell you in the next frame how long it took. Okay, so this is what I've done. I have laid the tiles on top. It says 15 minutes to set and 1 hour until it has structural strength. Try saying that 10 times fast. So I'm going to let it sit here for an hour like this, and then I'm going to come back and we'll see what we have. All right, guys, so I know it's crooked on the screen, but that's just how I have it on the table. So it's time to unveil this and see what it looks like. And hopefully it's time to start working on it. So I've had these heavy tiles on it for about, I'd say, 6 hours. Although it said it set in 1 hour, I just got busy and it's been sitting here. So let me just take these off here. Let's see what we have. Be interesting for sure. Ooh, nice and flat. No pits. So this stuff is much better than the cement already, I could tell. And, hold on 1 second. Sorry, one of my cats is sick and I heard a howling, so I just had to check quick. These are my babies. All right, here we go. So you can see the plastic comes off nice. Wow, that feels fantastic. Baby's bottom right there. And the good thing about this is you have these rough edges that are, it looks real. Now, the secret is it going to chip when I pick it up? I would expect some of the edges to crack off because they're not, well, it's pretty tough though. I don't want to sit here and dig at it either until it's got resin on it. There you go, and there's the back. Even this back, if you were to put like little tiny crystals in there, it would just look so real. I see we got some lines from the paper, but that's okay. That's going to be the back. We're going to work on this side. Just break off these little, very fine pieces. I'm not pressing hard, just if they come off, they come off. So this is fantastic, guys. I am so stoked right now. Wow. So what I'm going to do is get this lifted up off of this. I'm going to put probably 6 to 8 cups to support it all the way around. And actually, I should probably tape the back off now that I'm thinking of it, because sanding this might be a chore. So I'll just take some regular old tape, just the blue painter's tape, and tape it off. And I will do that fast forward for you. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take some brass, I can't tip it because the lid is off, brass gilding paint by Craft Smart. It's also known as liquid leaf. And I'm going to paint the outer edges and the inner area here. I'm going to do it on fast speed so you don't have to sit through that. I'm going to use the fast speed for a couple parts in this video just because it's going to be a long video. But they will be only the boring parts, I promise, where I don't have anything important to say. All right, so here we go. All right, so you're going to notice that I'm just going around the edges here. It's okay if I get it on the surface around the edge because I'm going to be going over that with different colors, but I'm getting right into those nooks and crannies with the brush, kind of like pouncing with the liquid leaf to get it right up in there. And as you can see, it is beautiful with this stuff on there. This stuff is really, I hope you can see anyway. It is so brilliant and just so gold. I need somebody to design like a really bright metallic gold like that. So that's on. And now we need to start thinking about the layout, the colors, and all that. By the way, when you use this liquid leaf, your brush, start soaking it in something right away because it does ruin brushes, or reserve a brush just for that. You know, clean it up the best you can and reserve it just for this. So next, what I think I'm going to do is kind of sketch out with a pencil what I want to do on this, even though every time I do that, I kind of stick with the outline, but it usually just does what it wants in most parts. So I'm going to try to sketch something out quick here, and then I will be right back. Okay, so I started to draw my shape and I just abandoned it because I'm just going to let it do what it wants and take it from there. So, a couple of things. I have some colors pulled out. When I make a geode, I cannot tell you ahead of time the exact colors I'm going to make. It has to come to me while I'm doing it. So what I like to do is I mix up the resin and I pour mix one color at a time, and then I'll look at my colors and say, okay, I want a little bit of that too. So what I've done is pulled out a type of a palette, okay? So the colors I have out here are Blushing Lily, and I don't know why my camera isn't focusing. Spiced Ginger, Antique Rose Gold, Red Plum, and one of the tints by Resin Arte, Chili Pepper. Now, I'm going to address the tint and mixing in a few moments when I get to it, but first I want to make an announcement, okay? In case you haven't seen my other video, Just For You Online UK has sponsored my channel, and I am so thankful. So has Resin Art. I keep saying Resin Art, Color Art. Color Art makes Resin Art, Tammy, get it. Color Art makes Primary Elements also, which you are going to be seeing in the very near future. Beautiful, these beautiful Resin Art colors, are made for acrylic pouring, and that line is called Primary Elements. Very, very, very similar colors. They are beautiful, and I'm going to explore those at a later date, but I just wanted to clarify that. So I am thankful to these two sponsors. I am immensely thankful to them. If you have a chance, please go check out their websites. I have them linked below. But anyway, Leslie is the mix master extraordinaire over at Color Art. She's the one that designs all these colors. She has released some new micas. And when I say micas, I mean in raw form. Cannot wait to show you these. I am showing you them in the packets that they come in, so you'll see the sizes of them. I'm going to show each of the different sizes. There's 3 different sizes. But this first one here is absolutely amazing. I want you to think of making a painting with texture. And I just can't even begin to imagine the possibilities for this stuff. But anyway, look at the size of those. And here's the thing. This one is the Champagne Pearl. You see the information there. These things are thick. They have layers. So you can pull them apart. If I could get them open here. Or you can stack them on top of each other. You can do a lot of things with these. Now, a lot of places that sell mica sell it ground up and not in huge flakes like this. But I'm going to show you one of these flakes, and you're going to go bananas. Here is one. Look at the layers in there. They are absolutely gorgeous. Big nuggets of love. So I'm going to be using these in a unique way. So that's the first size. Then it gets smaller. This one is the Chunky Fool's Gold. Very, very beautiful mica flakes. Here, I'll take some out so you can see them. Very, very pretty. And then the next one is the Fool's Gold. And it's a smaller version of what you just saw. So there's that one. But here's the good thing about this right here. You know that mica flake paste that I make? Tiny little jar, 20-something dollars. Well, you take some of this, mix it in with some gel medium, and voila, you have mica paste. And these can all be used in your geodes. You can find ways to add them into your acrylic pours. There's different ways you can use these things. When I say add them into acrylic pour, you can't put them into the paint, but once it dries, maybe add a line of glue and sprinkle a little on to decorate. And then I want to show you this glitter that I'm using tonight. It's the Chunky Seahorse. It is just beautiful. This company by far has the best. And I do have a code for them. It's Resin Head, all one word, RESINHEAD. 10% off your order, no minimum purchase required. Everything's listed below. And also, regarding these colors, Leslie also has a channel that I have linked below where she shows you on tiles what the different colors look like. And, you know, check her out. Go over and check her out. So anyway, I have my colors. And I'm going to start getting ready to mix them up. But I'm going to do one at a time. That's why I'm trying to fast forward some of this video so it's not, 5 hours long. But geodes take a long time. And unless you just want to watch a full video of fast forward, no talking and no instructions, then I have to keep talking. All right, so let me mix up my resin and we're going to get right into it. Okay, so I'm all ready to go. I mixed up 10 ounces of resin. Now, another thing when you're doing a geode, don't mix up a ton of resin unless you have a game plan, you know what you're going to do. Even I don't know what I'm going to do yet, so I mix up what I can use in the allotted time that I have to work with this. So what I will do now here is, because I told you I want to mix each color one at a time, I can't leave this all lumped together in the same pot because it will start to cure. So I have to break it down into smaller cups. And what I always like to do, especially when I make geodes, is I like to make my glitter mixture first so it can sit while I'm working and thicken up a little bit. That's what helps get those nice even lines. Now this little bit that's left in here, I can leave that in. It's just, you don't want to leave a large amount sitting in the cup all piled together there. All right, so here we go. I'm going to explain the tint when I get to it. But right now, I know I need white. And I know I need probably a lot of it. So just move this here. Time for me to clean my table again. So here's the white. And for the glitter, you don't need a lot of resin. You want it to be pretty thick. You want it to not slide off the stick like that. You want it to be plopping off of the stick. And I will show you that in 1 second here. Just want to get this white mixed in. Get that to the side. And that's just basic white. I'm not going to bother showing you that one. So now for my glitter, I'm going to take about 1.5 ounces of resin. And then I'm going to start pouring it in. So I'll put like, I don't know, double of what resin is there. And then I'll test it. So that's good because it's plopping. Plus, I'm going to let it sit for a little bit while we work on this. So I'll put that to the side and get it out of the way. And then you always want to reserve a little clear too, just in case you decide to add another color in or add more glitter in. You need it to be clear. So I just got a little glitter on there I wanted to get off. All right, so first color I want to use is most likely, let's see, we're going to have some clear crystals here eventually. So I'm going to put in, I believe, the rose gold first. Now, I know these bigger cups are a waste for the little bit of color I'm going to put in there, but I'm going to keep reusing them throughout this pour because I'll add more color into it. I can't use these little ones. I ordered them off eBay, and they don't bend easily enough without cracking. So you want to be able to flex your cup and bend it. So now for Rezin Art pigments, it is 1/8 of a teaspoon per ounce of resin. Let me see if I have a little spoon here to show you. I don't think I have any. Yeah, these are much bigger. All right, so this little thing here is a little taster spoon. So about that much. Now, that was a little heavy because I don't have exactly an ounce in there, so I'm going to add a little bit more. And I can tell how much an ounce is just by eyeballing it, to be honest. I've done this so much. All right, so there's my rose gold. And what I want to do is I want to try to control this so that it doesn't pour down into my area here. And I'm actually thinking maybe I'll skip this area for now and just work on this second area that I drew in. So always remember, the resin will most likely triple in width when you're pouring it. So just imagine this line getting 3 times wider, because you don't need a lot to cover a section. And then you can always take your stick and spread it out, which is what I want to do just for this area here, because I want to make sure that I don't overflow. So now I could probably put a little bit more in a few areas here. And don't be neat about it. Like, don't worry about staying in a straight line. It looks more natural when you just move it around and let it go. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more of this color right through here. I'm going to hopefully be able to pay attention to what it's doing, because you have to remember too that this was very hard for me to level this, so it's not exactly level. All right, so this should be good for now. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do just this little 2 areas with those mica, the mica flakes, and then the rest I'm going to just put you on fast forward and let you watch me mix the colors and see how I lay them out. So what I want to do is use the resin as a glue. So I'm wondering now if I take this and just do a line of it. Now I'm going to take some of those, let's see, do I want the smaller? Let's see how the bigger one looks in there. Now remember, these you can separate. You can leave them chunky or you could pull them apart and kind of separate them. This area here, I want to put these down because I'm going to be putting the transparent color over it. And you're going to see it's going to make a beautiful effect. All right, so I'm going to lay these out just like that. And then when I'm done with that, I will be right back. All right, guys, I have to show you this. This is one flake. Look at the layers. Is that not magnificent? You know, I can remember being little. Oh, I wish this camera would focus. Being little and going out into the woods and chipping at rocks to look for little mica flakes. That is just like heavenly to me. All right, so I have those there, and I'm going to add a little tiny bit of the chunky Fool's Gold. Actually, maybe I'll hold off on that one. Let me just get my colors down first. All right, so now I want to put some white in here. And I could tell that I'm going to have to prop this up a little bit, I think. It's going downhill. And I think what I'm going to do is right around these mica flakes on the outside, I'm going to add some white too. So when I put my transparent chili pepper color, hopefully it'll push it out and they'll blend all together nicely. Hopefully. If you've ever made a geode, you know that sometimes things, most of the times, things don't go as planned. So don't want to cover those flakes. I just want to outline them. And hopefully if any of them get colored, as I said, the transparent will push it away again. Right, and I got a little drip over here that I want to get rid of, like right now. All right, so the next color I'm going to mix up is that transparent chili pepper. So now, the tints. Two ways that you can mix these. You can mix them for resin as a paste. So what you want to do is you want to get a little cup. Hope you can see this here. Get a little cup Now this is very, very pigmented, so you don't need a lot. Put some in the cup. Now I'm going to probably need more than that, so add a little bit more. Put a couple of drops of alcohol, I'm sorry, a little tiny bit of resin. Just enough to make it into a paste. So I'll need a little bit more than that. And mix it in really, really good. They need some extra love. They are raw mica, so these aren't like the Resin Arte Colors, the tints. The Resin Arte Colors, a couple of swirls with the stick and it's done. These need to be mixed in really, really well. So then what you're going to do, after you have your little bit of paste, you're going to put 2 to 3 drops of 99% alcohol. Now with alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, the higher the number, the less the water. So you want to try to get 99%, especially when you're working with resin, for this application at least. So 3 drops I put in. And what that's going to help is it's going to help the sediment on the bottom of the cup dissolve. Now there are still some little, I forgot how Leslie explained it, minerals that hug onto the color. So you'll see little specks, but they dissolve in your pour as it's curing. So you can do it that way. Okay. And now you can add the rest of your resin in and then pour. Or, uh-oh, look at this. Look at this. Got it just in time. Or you can make an alcohol ink out of these and then use a couple of drops of the ink that you make to color your resin, just like you would with a panada ink. So I'm going to show you that way also. So for that, what you do is you put some color in the cup. Color in the cup. And now the alcohol, you're going to add more than what I just did that first time. So let me see how many drops I add. 1, 2, 3. Well, I'm at this is 2 milliliters I'm putting in there. And then I'll add another 2. So that's 4 milliliters. But I'm not going to dump this whole thing into my resin. I'm going to use it, as I said, as an alcohol ink. Now I have tested this and it works. Your resin cures fine. And the everything dissolves because you're using more alcohol. But I have not tested this with like 91% or 90 or 70%, because like I said, there's more water in there that may affect your resin. So now I have a nice alcohol ink that I'm going to dribble into some clear resin. Okay. Get rid of a little bit of this. Not sure if I'll need all that. And now I'm going to look at a couple of drips, just like with the Panada colors. Okay. And we're going to give it a nice stick and mix it up. So now I have a beautiful tinted resin. So they work either way. Now you can take this, you can add more color, more alcohol, and then pour it off into a bottle and store it. But here we go. See? Beautiful tint. So now what I want to do is I want to take some of this. And I could tell I'm going to have to repaint my center here because it's just going in. I'm going to take this and I'm going to go right over those rocks. And they're going to turn to like a beautiful rose gold color. Pinky rose gold color. Now imagine doing this with a turquoise tint. How beautiful that would look, those flakes underneath. Now again, if you want to do it either way, it's fine. Those mica flakes are just so thick so that you can see the resins like pouring off of them in odd directions. I don't think the white made much difference. All right, so now I'm going to mix up a solid and then start pouring and covering stuff up. So this is where I'm going to fast forward you guys. So we don't have a 5-hour video. All right, guys, so I seriously want to cry right now because my camera shut off and I did not know. So here we are in the middle, not in the middle, way past the middle of designing this. And all I can say is I mixed up colors and started laying them down. And it is going over on the sides in some places, so obviously I will have to wipe that down somehow and clean it up. So there's a few things that I learned making this, and that is, A, you really want to make sure you have it, when you flatten it out, the cement, you really want to make sure that the surface is pretty level, because you can see it's moving, but in my case, it'll probably help. Usually when things move, it helps the pattern shift, and they end up looking beautiful in the end. We'll see. But that, and then the edges, make sure there's like no how would I say this? Cliffs. Like it goes fine here, and then right here, there is like an indent where I didn't mold it with my fingers, and the resin pours down in there. But those are all little minor things. I am going to explore this further because I absolutely freaking love it. It's unique. Now, maybe the colors are not what a real geode would look like, but this is art. But the next one I make, I am going to try to mimic natural stone. And for that one, I'm going to paint it with acrylics, not use the resin. So we've got a lot more exploring to do. So the colors that I chose that you didn't see me using were the antique rose gold, white, the spiced ginger, red plum, the chili pepper tint, and yeah, so now I need to put my glitter in before it is seized up, if it isn't already. This took longer than I expected. So I want to add in some of that beautiful glitter. Oh, and I added in some liquid leaf also. Before I do the glitter, though, I'm going to heat it up a little bit because the glitter will spread out if I heat it while it's on the geode. So I like to heat and move stuff first before I do the glitter. And then the rocks I'm going to add a little bit more and fix them up. But they really add a nice element and texture to the piece. Just trying to pop some of the bubbles. I don't want to move it too much. It's going to move on its own and make its own design. The one thing I will be doing is trying to clean up the edges so there aren't big drips. But I'm going to paint over them again once this is cured. And I will do that with you, obviously, and show you it when it's done. This center is gorgeous. Love it. So just kind of pushing it out a little bit. All right, so now what I'm going to do is get a stick and push those back. This here, push it back a little bit. And I might have to keep babysitting it until it's done moving. I'm wondering if I could lift it a little bit with one of these, but no, it's going to be too high probably. Leave it like that for a minute and see what it decides to do. All right, so glitter, glitter, glitter. Let's see here. So just looking, I think I'm going to go start over here. I'm thinking it might be thick enough for me just to pour it right out of the cup. Let's see. Go down that way. Uh-oh, see, too much. So I needed to use the stick. That way. I believe it was Judy that told me to cut a slit in this cup, but I forgot to do it. So I'm going to just have to deal with it for now. Here, let's try it. Try on the clean side of the cup. I think she said to just snip like a little triangle like that off, and that's supposed to help it. Let's see if that's even what she told me to do. This resin is really thick, so I'm not used to pouring like this with that little slit there, so hopefully I don't screw it up. All right. So there, and then we need a little bit over here, of course, but I have a feeling it's going to roll off because it's moving a lot. Maybe I could put it back down now. Before I lose my moon rocks. That's what the big nuggets of love are called, moon rocks. But I did get a nice shape out of that, so I'm going to leave it as close as I can. So sometimes uneven tables pay off. All right, so now I'm going to go I think right along this gold area here. Just to hide some of that underneath that's sticking through. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this up. I'm going to get things back into place here. And I'm going to come back and show you how I'm attaching my crystals. Which I'm hoping will work. I found a 5-minute epoxy. So I'm thinking if I put it on there and jam them into it, hopefully they'll stick. But I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me do this. So let me pause you. And then I'll be right back. All right, so I have a beautiful pattern forming, but a royal mess going down the sides. But here's the kicker, okay? What I'm going to do, I think, with these sides are maybe just let it cure and paint over, because they're already bumpy and it looks like a piece of rock, it's broken. Maybe just going over with gold leaf on the edges there, maybe that will help. I'll address it when I get there, because as I said, this is the first time I've done one of these. But now look at how beautiful, like, oh, you can't see what's going on here as good as I can, obviously. But there's a lot of depth, especially in that center area where I put the tints over those beautiful nuggets. So what I have now is some of the Fool's Gold, the medium grade. And I'm going to just see if I sprinkle a little bit of this in here, if it'll sink underneath. And if not, then I'll have some of this in there. It may, just may, sink underneath. I wish I had a little more clear. Mixed up, but I don't. You know what? Change of plans. I'm going to add some more of those bigger nuggets. Because I would like to have some clear just to push that down a little bit, and I don't. So, you know, technically this is only the first layer. I was trying to do it in one layer. So, I'm going to just lay some of these out. I won't make you watch me, because that's pretty boring. But what I'm going to do is just take them, and in just a few random places, I'm going to break them to be a little tiny bit smaller, like right here. Just kind of layer them so that you get that depth. And I think that'll look nice. You don't want to overdo it either, you know, which I tend to all the time. So I'm going to add the rest of these. I'm not going to make you watch. I'm going to kind of jab them down in there. And then I'm going to add some more glitter, I think. Maybe not. Maybe it's nice and dainty right now, so maybe I should just leave well enough alone. I'm just trying to cover up a little bit of that, the smaller flake that I poured. That would be better, like, in the center, but I have no clear mixed up, so. Not that I need it. It's just I like the way the center looks now, so. So, yeah, you can layer these things upon layer and layer and really get some cool effects. I absolutely love them, Leslie, if you watch this. I know everybody else will too. All right, so I'm going to finish doing that and then stop for the night, and I will turn on the camera when it's cured. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is get a saucepan, old saucepan. Put your rock or rocks in the pan and put it on medium and cover it. Let it sit there for about 15 to 20 minutes. So after you have gotten your stones really nice and hot, take a bucket of ice water and throw your stone into the ice water to shock it. So what is happening is it is messing with the structure of the stone, and it is going to make it very brittle. So I'm not sure if you can see all the little hairline fractures in the rock, but what's going to happen now is when I put it in a bag and tap it, it's gonna just shatter apart, creating a million little crystals for your artwork. So after you let that sit in the water for about 15-20 minutes, take it out, dry it off, and then you're going to want to place it into a bag or something that will stop the crystals from flying all over the place when you're trying to whack it with the hammer. All right, so now I'm outside. I have my hammer. It's in the bag. You're going to just start tapping away until it starts to shatter apart. I moved it down here so it's not so loud. There you go. See that? How easy it broke apart? So just tap it until you get to the size you want. And there are your simple crystals. Alright guys, so here's where we are at. I have added, they're not attached or anything yet. I've added some crushed glass and a few little beads that I had just to add a little interest, that's all. And now I have to start affixing the crystals in the center, and I need to think about adding some more glitter and a little more tint in this area. Now this did cure perfectly overnight. And yeah, it's really, really cool. And I hope that you give it a try at some point. So what I have here I want to try first is this setting 1 minute time, it says. So I'm thinking I'm going to put a little dab of it on, put a crystal, and then keep doing it one little dab at a time. So I'm going to be doing that, and I'm going to also be adding some of these little crystals that one of my viewers sent me. Thank you, Karen. I'm going to be adding some of those just to add some interest. I'm not going to be doing any lines on this one. I think it will be fine the way it is. So let's just do a couple of these in real time so you can see what I'm doing. So the epoxy is in this already. And what they do is they give you two little syringes to attach to the nozzle here, so you can get just a little tiny bit amount, a little bit of it out at a time. So the directions say to pull back on the trigger. I believe that's what it said. Hold on. Let's see. Hold the syringe with nozzle up and pull back slightly on plunger. Okay, well, it says to push the cap off this thing here to open it. I hope this isn't already like cured in the tube. Doesn't seem to pull back. Anyway, so I have the cap here. Does have a little bit of an odor to it, I will warn you. I have the nozzle here in my hand, I meant to say. So you gotta kind of push it on and then twist it a little bit. And now what you're gonna do is let's see. Yep. So we're just gonna push the syringe, the plunger in here. Oh, I can see it's a little bit hard. There is a little bit of gunk or something in there, but it is filling up right now as I'm pushing it. It's kind of hard, to be honest. For me, anyway, it is. So what I'm going to do is put just like a drop of it. And then I'm going to pull back on the plunger. so that it'll stop flowing out. And then I'm going to take a crystal. I'm going to be using different sizes. And I'm going to set it right in where I put that epoxy. Just like that. It's supposed to take about a minute to set. So while I'm waiting for that to set, I'm going to look through my crystals because I'm not going to use all of this type crystal. I'm going to be using some glass that I broke up also, that you saw me break up right before this started. Did I put? No. All right. So again, I'm going to put a little tiny bit here. Just like so. Don't need much. And then I'm going to place it just like that. Okay? So for the glass pieces, I'm going to use, let's see. Just going to pull out a chunk and kind of hold it there to see how it looks, if I like it. So that will be good there. So I'll put a little bit there. Now I don't want to go and smear this all over the center because it does cure fast. So I'm just going to use a little bit at a time. All right. So I'm going to do that all around the center and place them, and then I will come back when I'm done with that. All right, I've given up on that epoxy in the syringe because what happens is this is more of a one-time push and use kind of thing. Because what happens is when they mix in the syringe, it's activated. So it gets hard in here. You can't push it out. It's a nightmare. So I'm switching over to hot glue. So what I'm going to do is just put a little wad of hot glue on here and then stick this down. Now this is only to hold these in place until I can get some resin to seep down in between and set them on there the right way, the permanent way with the resin. So don't worry about glue strings. You can always go over them with your heat gun and get rid of those. So I'm going to use a couple of these bigger ones that you're seeing me put on. And then I'm going to switch over to the smaller ones. Now these crystals that I'm using are actually for necklaces. So there's a tiny hole drilled on the one end of them, which you're not going to see when I'm done. It'll all be covered. So I like to use these. They work. And they look pretty. I'm just kind of sticking the bigger ones in random places, and then I'm going to come back in with the glass, or I should say the glass stone that I crushed, and add that in certain places. Okay? So I will be back. Okay, so I have those all hot glued on for the moment. These are just laying here. There's no resin, no nothing holding them on. So I have 4 ounces of resin I mixed up. Here's what I want to do first. I first want to make sure I have no glue strings, because those will just not look good in your resin. And if you think that you might have missed some, which I know I have, you can take the heat gun, which I'm going to try not to do because I don't want to blow my crystals around. But you could take the heat gun and melt them really quick, as long as you don't have loose crystals. Because if you don't get them off, they will look like a hair in your painting. I think I have one more in there, but I'll deal with that after. All right, so I'm going to take some resin, just some clear, and drizzle it right along these rocks so that it'll drip down in there and adhere them to my canvas, or cement in this case. I don't want to necessarily get it on top of the crystals because that will make them lose their shine. But just along the outer area here. Now what I need to do is I got to mix up some more of that tint, the chili pepper tint, and go over these large mica flakes again, and then add a little glitter, a little more glitter, and then my little crystals, aka rhinestones. All right, so I'm going to leave that there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up, I was going to put clear over this, and then around the clear put the chili pepper, but I'm afraid it's going to push it out too much. So I'm going to use the chili pepper to hopefully coat most of, or go around the mica flakes and have it go under the crystals. Sorry, sometimes I have a hard time explaining what I'm going to do. And I've made way over 100 videos now. And it's like repeating over and over and all that good stuff. You tend to stumble. So I'm just taking some of my clear and putting it in the cup. And then again, I'm going to make that tint with the alcohol, the 99% alcohol. So again, there's two methods. If you skipped through my video and didn't hear me, you can put some of the color in the cup, add a little bit of resin, mix it up to make a paste, put 2 to 3 drops of 99% alcohol, and then add the rest of your resin in to create your cup of color. Or if you want to make an alcohol ink out of this and then drip a couple of the alcohol inks into the resin, that's what I'm going to do right now. You can do it that way. This is with 99% alcohol. I have not tested it with anything less than 99%, and the lower the number the alcohol is, the more water there is in the alcohol. So I don't know how water affects resin if you add too much alcohol with water into your resin. So that's why I use what I know, and that's the 99%. And I know I'm repeating myself, but I find a lot of people don't watch my entire video and then they ask questions that I already addressed. So when I'm doing something like this and mixing it up again, I'll just say it quickly. So I'm going to put a few Just a little bit in there. Probably about a half a teaspoon worth. And mix it up. See if it's the shade I like. And if it's not, then I will add a little bit more. So I'm going to add a little tiny bit more. Now, this will thin out the resin because there's a lot of alcohol in there. So, it's another thing to keep in mind. It's very runny at this point. So let's see just how runny it is. It is very runny, I could tell. Yeah, so let it sit for a minute. I'll work on the glitter first. So I want it to be a little bit thicker. But you can see it is coloring underneath the stones, and that's what I wanted. So up next, the glitter. Let's put that right there. Okay, so I mixed up my glitter here. This camera has a hard time focusing for some reason. It's really driving me nuts lately. So let me go back to this here. I just want to ever so gently start pouring it into this area. Just going to kind of weave it through. Just trying to cover those silver flakes or champagne color flakes. Okay. Okay, and then I'm going to take my stick and just move it around a little bit. Make sure it is where it needs to be. Make sure everything is where it's supposed to be. Right. Perfect. And then I want to add a little more glitter. So I think what I'm going to do is outline this entire area and the inner area again with some of this glitter. So, for example, I want to go back over this whole area. Not a lot, I just want to add some. Just to make sure that it's blingy. I'm also going to use some clear to push it back a little bit. Oopsie. I'm going to go right over this flake. I want to see how these look with glitter on them also. Okay. And I'm also going to be sprinkling raw glitter on this in a minute. Just not yet. So now, also want to try the outside. Area here. So we make these geodes and they're all about the bling. The bling, bling, bling. It's a little hard when they're not tacked down, the crystals, because you try to move stuff and it just starts getting in the way and attaching to your stick when you don't want it to. So what I'm attempting to do here is make this rock area very blingy and loaded with tons of different things. Trying to make it a little interesting. Okay, so that's that. Now what I want to do is, I think I'm going to add some of those smaller gold flakes. Let's see. The smaller ones here. I'm going to just sprinkle them right in there. Okay. And I'm also going to add some of the Chunky Seahorse by Just For You in raw form, not in resin. All right. Then what I need to do is I need to add some clear to this now, because I'm going to have to add my rhinestones, and I'm going to need that to be really, really close to cure, so I could just pop them on there. So what I'm going to do is put the clear in a cup. Right, and now I'm going to go around some areas here just to kind of push them back. All right, so that's that area. But then off camera, but I'm going to show you what I'll be doing. I'm going to be taking a stick and kind of just going over the entire surface. I'm trying to spread that clear out over it. Just to give it a really light coat for my rhinestones to stick to. This is not the top coat that I'm doing. It's just a really thin coat. This center that I created is proving to be very challenging because I'm not happy with it at the present state. So I think what I'm going to do is keep working on it and then come back when I'm happy with it and show it to you, because everything that I'm going to do from this point forward is self-explanatory, and you guys have seen me do it a million times before. So I'll keep adding colors and or stones until I get a pattern in this area here that's making me happy, because right now it's not. So that's the dealio. And some of this I might have to wipe back with a paper towel to keep it in check here. But the majority of it is done. It's this here that I have to fix. And things like this, where this is taking over my other colors. So I'll get it there, I promise. And again, as for the rhinestones, I'm gonna just literally sit them down in the wet resin about an hour from now when it's really nice and tacky, and let them cure just like that. So I will be back with what she looks like. All right, guys, just so I can move on to the next one, I'm going to show you this. It's still wet, but it's done. And what I will do is in the next video, when I make my next geode, I will show you this cured on a stand. As for the sides, I'm not doing nothing to them. I'm just going to display it how it is. I just want to be able to move on and try the acrylic. I think the acrylic is going to be a lot easier to work with. Anyway, I have my flash on so you could see the sparkle. I just love, love, love the depth that this creates. Using the Simmental. And as I said, this was a test piece just to see how it worked. I didn't expect it to come out magnificent or anything. So there you have it. But I need to move on from this because I have other videos I have to do for people. So there you have it. Cement geode. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. Don't forget to check out justforyouonlineuk.com and Rezin Arte Colors at colorart.com. I want to thank you all for being patient through this. And again, I apologize that my camera didn't catch that me laying the colors down, but accidents happen. Okay? So have a great night, guys. Happy pouring.